10 games that will hook you in the first hour of gameplay, being for the story, mechanics, characters, and more. Hope you liked the video, click in the like button, subscribe for more, and let's go.
For help, aren't you?
Soon she'll wake and paint again.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an amazing turn-based RPG released in 2025. Nobody was expecting much of the game, but it showed us that a AA game can be a masterpiece and is surely going to be one of the nominees of the Game Awards this year.
You're only going to make things worse for everyone.
No. She chose to come. I didn't make the rules between you two.
You're fighting.
The game was developed by the studio Sandfall Interactive and released in April of 2025 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows directly on Xbox Game Pass. So if you didn't play it yet, do. Especially if you use Game Pass, it'll hook you in the first 30 minutes of the game.
I thought I was used to losing people.
Yeah, me too.
The game mixes exploration, combat, and one of the most original and immersive storylines I've ever seen. In the first minutes of gameplay you'll already like that universe and characters, and from there on, it'll surprise you more and more. The combat is in a turn-based style, but is probably the best game to start playing this kind of game if you never played some, cause it's not just press a button and wait, you gotta make it happen, by quick time events to increase the damage. You'll also need to dodge or parry enemies' attacks, otherwise you won't get far in the game, cause it may be challenging in some moments, so just do a favor to yourself and play it.
Our Expedition 33.
So why'd you leave Boston?
The Last of Us is one of the best story games ever created. Story will hook you in the first hour. As you start playing you'll behold the horror that the characters are facing in what seems their darkest hour, and it'll shock you in the first minutes.
I've been on quite the adventure, little brother.
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
It's got everything to do with that little girl.
The game was developed by the studio Naughty Dog, a legendary PlayStation studio, creators of Uncharted, Crash Bandicoot and more. The Last of Us was first released in 2013 on PlayStation 3, but nowadays you can play it on PlayStation 4 with the remastered version or PlayStation 5 and PC with the remake.
Can it?
Once upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about.
In a ravaged civilization where infected and hardened survivors run rampant, Joel, a weary protagonist, is hired to smuggle 14-year-old Ellie out of a military quarantine zone. However, what starts as a small job soon transforms into a brutal cross-country journey, all with a great storytelling and an immersive gameplay, with stealth combat, with weapons and firearms, also with exploration and management that will easily get you thinking about the game all the time.
And in this world, that's good for one thing. Get you killed.
I can take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
I get into trouble down there. You make every shot count.
I got this.
I'll tell you a story, true soul. My life was dismantled piece by piece. And when I tried to buy it back, it cost me everything. I must finish what I started. Death's design will be complete.
Baldur's Gate 3 is surely the biggest tactical RPG ever created. It's set in a unique and impressive world with a lot of different scenarios, characters, and possibilities. It's serious. It's scary how insane the game can change if you make a small decision. The game was developed by Larian Studios and released in 2023 to Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC, and the people that knew the series already knew that it'd be a huge game, but the rest of the world didn't know how good and impressive it'd be, and is now remembered as one of the best games ever, and even got the Game of the Year award at the Game Awards. What is so interesting in Baldur's Gate 3, beyond the graphics, gameplay, and scenarios, is the details. It's even hard to believe that a game could have so much possibilities. For example, if you choose to talk or don't talk to an NPC, it could change a huge part of the game, and that's just one example. Everything in this game will change something. That's wonderful, and believe what I say, this game is going to be remembered for more than a decade, as a game that a few people believed in, and the whole world got absolutely impressed by its insane quality.
I saved you. And I'm here to save you again. A
parasites are merely a symptom of a greater sickness in Faerun. The infected hear the voice of the Absolute and believe it to be a god.
The Absolute is more dangerous than you can possibly conceive. It threatens all who live. It threatens the gods, the weave, the very fabric of the universe itself.
Oh, there do I see my mother. Oh, there do I see my father. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
That bow's a little big for you, isn't it?
My mother made it for me. Said I'd grow into it.
Find your way home.
God of War 2018 is the returning of Kratos to the video games after a long time. The game was developed by Santa Monica and released in 2018 to PlayStation 4 and later to PlayStation 5 and Windows. Even got the Game of the Year award that year. But for me, Red Dead Redemption 2 still deserved more. But despite it, God of War is an amazing action-adventure game experience with many RPG mechanics, like levels, armors, items, and much more. This is the first Kratos' game outside of his original mythology, and he's now in the Norse mythology, with new gods, places, characters, and much more. The game itself is totally different of the classic games. Kratos is no longer the most brutal thing in the universe. He's older now, wiser, and that's really interesting to see this side of him. But if you played now, he's still really brutal, but in specific moments. The combat of the game is really fun, kind of inspired in Souls-like games with nice boss fights, great soundtrack, and a very good storyline, getting you hooked right in the start.
But only when tempered by this. By the discipline, the self-control of the one who wields it.
Open the door! We need your help!
This is no ordinary illness. The boy's true nature, your true nature, fights within him.
So I'm a man now. Like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that.
You a witcher? That monster slayer they's talking about in the village? About to ask me for help, aren't you? I can help, but I don't work for free.
The Witcher 3 is one of the biggest open-world RPG games ever created. It's set in one of the most interesting and rewarding open world of video games history. Everywhere you go there will be something interesting to explore, finding new items, such as armors, weapons, or even items required to craft different and unique stuff.
I'll not drink with Weaver-Lost freaks. Heard you wondering about my swords. One's for monsters. The other for humans.
The game was developed by the studio CD Projekt Red and released initially in 2015, even won the Game of the Year award in that year, and it was released on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows, but later it was also released on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch, with a free upgrade for those who had the game on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One.
Thing is, the real beast is something else though.
Listen to me. I rule the largest empire the world has ever known.
Geralt, we should stay out of
In the game you play as Geralt of Rivia, the legendary witcher of that world, and the characters will hook you in the start of the game. Geralt, Vesemir, and even characters that you'll find along the journey will all show you how impressive the game is. As you start playing, you'll see its beautiful world, with infinite things to do, explore, quests to do, and enemies to fight, all with a lot of charisma and personality, making one of the best games ever created.
Choosing the lesser evil can be hard at times.
Be careful, Geralt.
I'll rip your back off, mutant! You don't need mutations to strip men of their humanity. I've seen plenty of examples.
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the biggest adventure of Zelda's series. The game is set in a huge open world with infinite possibilities and a good story. The game was developed by Nintendo and released in 2023 to Nintendo Switch, and so far it's exclusive of that console. What's bad for a side, cause it's a weak console, but Nintendo announced that there will be a better version on Nintendo Switch 2, and it shall run really better there. The game follows Link, a young warrior that's usually searching a way to save the Princess Zelda, and here it's not much different, but this game is impressive in its details, with a huge open map, and infinite things to do, and imagine that everything in this game can be done in a different way, and no, the game won't show you the way, just give the tools. This is the sequel of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I'd say it's not so required to play Breath of the Wild first. This one is bigger, and greater than the first in this style, so, you must play it.
Link.
Are you prepared to suffer to save your son? You have 5 minutes to cut off the last section of one of your fingers in front of the camera. If you succeed, you will get your reward.
Agent Norman Jaden, FBI.
Heavy Rain was one of the first games in its style that was a true success. It was developed by the studio Quantic Dream, and released in 2010 to PlayStation 3, and eventually to PlayStation 4, and Windows. In the game you'll experience a gripping psychological thriller filled with innumerable twists and turns. The hunt is on for a murderer known only as the Origami Killer. For characters, each following their own leads, must take part in a desperate attempt to prevent the killer from claiming a new victim. Controlling multiple characters, in an extremely immersive story, you'll discover more and more things about each one of them, and try to solve the main base of the game. That's who's the one killing innocent people. The gameplay is simple. You can walk and interact with things and people. The most important things are the dialogues, what can change the events and ending of the game. So believe me, you'll be really shocked with the plot twist of the game, but you'll need to play to see it.
My name's Scott Shelby. I'm a private detective. I'm investigating the case of the Origami Killer.
I'd like a room.
Madison Page, 27, Tingle.
Ethan Mars has had psychological problems since his first son died. Feels responsible for his death. He is haunted by visions of drowning bodies. A few weeks ago, after one of our usual sessions, I found this on the floor. It must have fallen out of his pocket.
BioShock is a unique first-person shooter game, mixing an action game with a survival horror approach. Its story is unique, set in a city underwater where everything is way more bizarre than you can possibly imagine, and there, you'll have many questions and discoveries that will blow your mind. The game was developed by the studios 2K and initially released in 2007 to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows, but later it was also released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, macOS, and iOS as a remastered version.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
BioShock is a shooter unlike any you've ever played, loaded with weapons and tactics never seen, such as unique weapons of that world, as unique magics that will make the gameplay way more immersive and interesting. The universe is rich with lore. Everywhere you go you'll see something interesting, from enemies to characters, files, and places, so it's easily one of the most immersive story first-person shooter games ever released.
But the plasmids are the paint.
Ghost of Tsushima is an insane open-world game developed by the studio Sucker Punch Productions. It was released in 2020, only on PlayStation 4, but today there's a version to PlayStation 5 and Windows. The story of the game follows Jin Sakai, a samurai that in the brink of the total defeat starts to use unusual fighting methods to overcome the enemies, what makes his fame rise as the Ghost. The game mixes combat, stealth, exploration, and a lot of mini-games, but the best thing of the game is the world, with beautiful graphics and impressive visual effects. What even makes the game not need of a HUD? If you point something in the map, you won't see it in game, but the wind will blow in that specific direction as you slide the touchpad, what makes the game be extremely immersive. The story of the game is not the best point, but is fun, with interesting characters and insane cinematic moments, but by far the best thing is explore the world. The sequel is already announced, and it's coming out on October 2nd, 2025, only on PlayStation 5, and will be set 300 years after the original game. Bulletstorm is a good and unique first-person shooter, with cool mechanics, and a fast and frantic gameplay. The game was developed by the studio People Can Fly, and released in 2011, but in 2017 the game got a new version that is enhanced to play nowadays. It's available on PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, and there's a VR mode too, that you can play on MetaQuest 2 and 3, and PlayStation VR 2. Step into the boots of Grayson Hunt after a crash landing on an old resort planet forces him to make a hard choice, survival or revenge. Execute masterful kills with Bulletstorm's unique combat system that rewards you for performing the most creative and deadly kills imaginable. So if you like good fast-paced story first-person shooter games and didn't know this one, dude, believe me, it's really good, and the good part is that it's always in a good price, so check it out when you can.